Biggest race in Iowa at that time was the Iowa State Fair had a big race, and it was always during the Iowa State Fair in Des Moines. Other than that, there just were not big races. Now in 1959, Marion Robinson, who was the promoter at Knoxville, he had a race which he called the Midwest Invitational, and that paid the same as the state fair, which leads me to believe that he may have wanted to do the same thing with the Nationals. It was just a forerunner race of the Nationals, but he had to convince the Knoxville Fair Board, Marion County Fair Board, that it was a good idea. And he wasn't able to convince them that till 1961. One night in May or early June in 1961, Marion Robinson announced to the crowd. He was the kind of promoter that would get on the PA system and talk to the crowd a lot. And so he announced to the crowd that he was thinking of putting on a big race for a national supermodified championship. And what did the crowd think? Well, the crowd loved it. He always asked for their applause, and that told him whether it was a weak idea or a strong idea. Well, people gave him the kind of applause which he knew they were strongly in favor of it. And so when he announced it that night, he said there will be 100 super modifieds here. Well, that didn't come to pass, but in my mind, I'm thinking 100 cars in the pit area, that's just unheard of. And so I'm thinking, what on earth is the track going to do with 100 cars in there? I just couldn't imagine it. It was just, because our normal field would be maybe 24 cars at the most. That was the normal field in 61. I bought 3 tickets for the general admission. And general admission was $1. And so I didn't have a lot of money, so I bought a ticket for myself and my 2 younger brothers in the old wooden bleachers part of the grandstand. And we got here early that night and sat up as high as we could in what was the general admission, which is probably about row 10 to 12 in those old bleachers. Anything on up costed $1 more.